project on the Erikson theory. A little background about him was that he was born in 1902 and he lived to be 92 years old. He was born in Frankfurt, Germany. He wrote several books, and he's the 12th most cited psychologist. He was married to Joan Erikson, and he's known for his theory on psychosocial development on human beings. His theory is about how society and culture both challenge and shape us, and our development always changes as we grow through our interactions, no matter how old we get. There's 8 stages, and each stage has a different meaning. There could either be positive or negative outcomes. Each stage presents a crisis or conflict that the individual must solve to learn or deal with the situation in order to get on the next stage. The first stage is birth to 18 months old, and it's trust versus mistrust. The child usually looks towards its caregiver, and if they receive the consistency and predictable and reliable things they need, they will develop a sense of trust that will carry them on with their relationships, and they will be able to feel secure when they're threatened. If not, they develop fear, which can lead to unhealthy emotional stability later in life. The second stage is 18 months to 3 years old, and it's like learning to put on your own clothes and potty training, exploration, and developing skills and abilities while they're younger so that they can learn more independence and have security in life and know that they have that stuff. If they don't, they are doubting themselves and they have lack of independence. That would be the negatives. The next stage is 3 to 5 or 6-year-old, which is initiative versus guilt. And they play and make up games, initiate activities with others in a positive outcome, which leads to decision making and confidence. And the negative outcome would be that they have a lot of criticism and control, too much control, and they're led to being more of a follower instead of a leader and feel guilty from actions. There needs to be a good balance in between, but too much of the negative will bring bad outcomes later on throughout their other stages of life. Industry versus inferiority. They are learning to read and write, and the positive outcome would be feeling successful in initiative and becoming industrious. So, like they're learning, and the child feels like they need to win approval by demonstrating specific competencies that are valued by society, and they start to develop like more pride in their accomplishments. If they don't and can't feel what society wants, then they feel inferiority and lack of self-worth, which could lead to emotional problems and not being more as successful as they can in life. The next stage is adolescence, which is identity versus role diffusion, which consists of their personal beliefs, roles, goals, and those contribute to oneself as leading to awareness and uniqueness. If it didn't turn out good, they could feel uncomfortable. If they do feel uncomfortable about themselves, they start to experiment with different lifestyles, and it can lead to role confusion and very much lack of confidence. When they get into the early adulthood, Erikson said the next stage would be intimacy versus isolation. Usually around this stage, they start exploring relationships, feeling comfortable with each other, and sometimes finding love. If it's an unhealthy stage and negative outcome, they could fear relationships or intimacy, and that could lead them to isolation and loneliness. The middle adulthood, generativity versus stagnation, which would mean exploring career stability and creating a family, learning to care, and this will give them the sense of being part of a bigger picture and contribution to life. If they fail to achieve this, they would be unproductive and lead to becoming stagnant and unhappy with themselves. The last stage is late adulthood, which is ego integrity versus despair. In this uh, stage, Erikson says that um, they should think about their accomplishments and settle down so that they have wisdom in their life. If not, uh, they would feel guilt about their past and dissatisfied, which could lead to depression and despair. Each of these theories, Erikson thinks, is very important to every aspect of our life so that we can grow and change. And he thinks that we keep changing throughout each of the stages and that it's important for us to get through each one with a positive outcome, or it could lead to unhealthy personality and they won't be able to solve the crisis. Here are my sources.